Okay, today we are combining like terms, and the other thing that we are doing is called classifying polynomials. We didn't put it up there in the title, but down here it says classify. We are classifying polynomials, which means we're putting them in categories essentially. So we are going to combine like terms by finding our like terms. So like terms have the exact same variable. So for today, they're always going to have x. But in the future, you can only put x's with x's and y's with y's and z's with z's. And then this is the important part. They also have the same exponent. So the exact same variable and exponent. We are going to combine like terms by adding together our coefficients. C-O-E-F-F-I-C-I-E-N-T-S. Coefficients. That's just a fancy word, coefficients is, for the number in front. So like 5x plus 3x, you add the 5 and the 3 together. 9x squared plus negative 2x squared, you add the 9 and the negative 2 together. So we're adding those together. And then the next thing is when we write our answers, we are going to write them in standard form. So standard form is like the alphabetical order of polynomials. What it is we go from highest to lowest exponent, and then we put our constants, which are their numbers by themselves, we put those at the end. And the reason why we do this, it's going to make multiplying, or it's going to so this unit is all about polynomials. We're going to be adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing them. It's going to make that process easier if they're in order. And it also makes it so we're all on the same page of what our answers should be. And so all of our answers should all be in the same order. Okay, we're going to go back up to talk about this big table with all of these vocab words. I put these vocab words on here and went ahead and typed them out instead of having you fill in the blanks, because a couple years ago I had people fill in the blanks and then they had them spelled wrong the entire unit, and I don't want that. So these are the 4 words that we are going to use to classify the degree of a polynomial. These are the 4 words we're going to use to classify the number of terms. So degree is the highest exponent. And since we're in order, that should always be the first exponent. If the degree is 1, it is linear. If the degree is 2, it is called a quadratic. 3 is cubic, and 4 is quartic. Pay attention to the spelling between quadratic and quartic. Those get confused sometimes. So an example of what those are. Quartic would be x to the 4th. Cubic would be x to the 3rd. Quadratic is x squared. And then linear, when we have a linear function, sometimes we won't have that 1 on it. So it's x or x to the 1st. That imaginary 1 as our exponent we can take out. So it's x or x to the 1st. All right, any questions on that? Okay, then we are also going to classify based off of the number of terms we have. So we can have 1, 2, 3, or 4 or more terms. If it's 1 term, it is monomial. Mono means 1. 2 terms, binomial, like a bicycle has 2 wheels, is 2 terms. Trinomial, tricycle has 3 wheels, it's 3 terms. And then poly means many. So like polyester is fabric with many fibers. So polynomial just means many terms. So once we get to 4, we just call it a polynomial. Hey, any questions about that? Okay, I'm going to pause my video real quick. All right, back to our examples. So what we are doing is we are combining our like terms, and then we are classifying our answers. So you have to combine first and then classify. So what we're going to do, we're going to go through and we're going to find everything that has the same exponent. So I always start with the highest because then I'll just be in order. So I look through, highest thing I see is x to the third. So I'm going to go find everything that is x to the third, and I'm going to put 3 lines underneath it. So 5x to the third and 2x to the third. So the underlining is just a strategy I use to keep things organized. 5x to the third plus 2x to the third. That's like saying I have 5 of something and I have 2 of something. That means I have a total of 7 of them. So I add those together and I now have 7x to the third. It stays x to the third. It doesn't change the exponent. Then I've now done x to the third. I'm going to do x squared. So I go, look, this is the only x squared I have. If he has nobody to combine with, he just stays by himself. So I just have plus 3x squared still. If it's positive, it's plus. If it's negative, it's minus. And then after x squared comes x by itself. So I've got negative x and plus 7x. I'm going to put an imaginary 1 in front of this minus 1x or minus x. So I've got negative 1x and 7x. Negative 1 plus 7 is 6. I've got plus 6x. And then I've got a minus 6 here at the end. And that always goes at the end. Whatever numbers by themselves combine together and go at the end. Okay. Any questions about combining? Okay, so then we have to classify. And classifying is based off of 2 things. So we use the first thing we use is the degree. So degree is the highest exponent. The highest exponent here is 3. So the first blank here, this is a cubic. So that first word is an adjective. It goes first. Then we count up how many terms we have. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. And 4 or more is a polynomial. So this is a cubic polynomial. Write those up. Okay. Any questions on that one? Okay. Next one, we've got 13x squared and negative 4x squared. X squared is my highest exponent, so I'm going to combine those together. So 13x squared, negative 4. You can think about that as 13 minus 4 or 13 plus negative 4. Either way, it's 9. What's up, Brooke? No. So there's no equal sign. There's nothing to solve. We're just simplifying. Good question. Yep. This entire unit, you will not see an equal sign. This entire unit, we are simplifying polynomials. We'll be adding and subtracting them together, multiplying them, factoring them, which is what we call dividing with polynomials. But you will not see an equal sign this entire unit, I don't think. I'm not going to put money on that, but can't think of any equal signs anywhere. Okay, then this 2x and this 2x can combine together. So 2x plus 2x will be 4x. I've got plus 4x. And then this -3 and 15 can combine together. I use wavy lines with those ones since I already used a single line for just x. So -3 plus 15 is 12. If you guys need calculators to add together those coefficients, go for it, especially with the negative ones you might. Okay, so then we come look at this. X squared is my highest exponent. So that means my degree is 2. Degree of 2, using my little notes up at the top, is a quadratic. So I'm going to write that down. Quadratic. Quadratic. And then we count up the number of terms we have in our simplified version. We've got 1, 2, 3. 3 is tri, so it's a trinomial. All right, any questions right now? Okay, flip this over then. We got 2 more on the back. There's a couple wonky things that happen. So on this next one, I'm going to go ahead and put a 1 in front of my x. So I'm going to make this 1x. Anytime I have an x or an x squared or an x cubed without a number in front of it, there's an imaginary 1. If it's minus, it would be -1. Okay, this one, my highest exponent is x squared. And I've got 3 of them to combine together. So I've got 3x squared, -9x squared, and +6x squared. You can do this a couple different ways. You can do 3 minus 9, which is -6, and then add the 6. Or you could add together the 2 positive ones together. 3x squared and 6x squared together make 9x squared, and then I can subtract the 9x squared from it. If I do 3 plus 6, I get 9. Then what's 9 minus 9?
0.
0. How many x squareds do I have left?
None.
None. They cancel out. So if you want to go ahead and X them off so you know that you didn't just forget to add them and that they actually cancel away, you can. So 3 minus 9 plus 6 is 0. So we have no x squareds left. We're not going to write down 0x squared because there aren't any of them. Then 1x and 2x can get added together. And that's just 3x. So my answer on this one is just 3x.
It's linear.
Yep, flipping back to my table. My highest degree in my answer is just 1 because all my quadratics cancel away, so it's just linear. So it's linear. And then it's just one term as well. One term is a, yes, monomial. Okay. Last one. We've got x to the fourths in this one. So it's a high exponent. We've got this 7x to the fourth minus 2x to the fourth. 7 minus 2, we're at 5 now. Minus 4x to the fourth. So 7 minus 2 is 5, minus 4 is 1. So we've got 1x to the fourth. You can write down 1x to the fourth, or you could just write down x to the fourth. Because just like we can add in our imaginary ones, we can also take them out. And then we also have this 5 and negative 8. 5 minus 8 is negative 3. So I've got x to the fourth minus 3. Okay. What is an exponent of 4 called? Quadratic is 2. Quartic. The R comes before the T. So quartic, think about a quarter. How many quarters are in a dollar? 4. So if your exponent's 4, it's quartic. So it's like a quart of milk. There's 4 quarts of milk in a gallon. I think. That's why it's called a quart. So quartic. And then 2 terms. What is 2 terms? Binomial. Binomial and trinomial are easy because you can just think about bi and tri. Those make sense. All right, I'm going to go ahead and pause this notes video. Or actually stop it. Bye, notes video. Nice knowing you.